Hi everyone, welcome to today's live session. I'm Shumi from Young Global Education Limited. We're a trusted UK university partner representing more than 80 top-ranked UK universities. So in our today's session, we do have one of our special guests, Mr. Kully Virdee, with us, who is the Senior International Officer South Asia of one of our prominent partners, QA Higher Education. Hi Kully, how are you?
Hi, Zomni. Very well, thank you. As I mentioned earlier, a bit cold, but yeah, very good,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. So at first, I'd like to thank you for joining our live session today, and we're pleased to have you for our session. So, dear students, our audiences, we do have QA Higher Education with us, who representing top-ranked universities in the UK, and our today's session will be focusing more on the upcoming intake, like what facilities, what courses, and how many scholarships the featured universities are offering for the upcoming session. So, Kulinda here is going to provide you all the necessary details. And in the meanwhile, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. And at the end of our session, we'll have a question answer session. So over to you, Kudi. Kindly introduce yourself once again to our students and tell us something about QA Higher Education and its history and all, please.
Thank you, Zomni. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's session. My name is Kully. I'm Kully Virdee. I work on the South Asia team here at QA Higher Education. And yeah, today just wanted to kind of go through, our university partners, the courses that we offer, the scholarships, entry requirements, and, have a questions and answer session for anything that you feel you might need to know. So look, I'll start off with who are QA. So QA, we were set up around 30 years ago as a training provider, and over the 30 years, we have expanded into a number of different core businesses. So the part of the business that we're discussing today is QA Higher Education, and we have 4 university partners that we recruit for. So with QA, we own and operate the London, Birmingham, and now Manchester campuses for Ulster University. The London branch campus for Northumbria University, and we also have embedded pathway centres with the University of South Wales and Solent University as well. We've also created our pathway centre in Northumbria University as well. And the kind of courses that we offer range from all the way from pre-sessional English, foundation programs, international year 1 programs. And then we have our undergraduate portfolio where we have the 3 years, and we also have top-up programs as well. And then we have pre-masters and our master's programs. So that in a nutshell is who QA are and what we do in terms of programs and levels. For intakes, I think what I really like about QA is historically with a lot of universities, they only really have 2 main intakes a year, which is the main September intake and then a January intake. And unfortunately, if you normally miss the January intake, which I know, look, South Asia, I'm South Asian, we're very, very late at everything we do. And sometimes students will miss the intake and then they think, oh, I have to wait 9 months for that course to come back around. The great thing is for all the PG students, what we do offer is we do have a May intake, which is really good. So for anybody that's kind of missed that January intake, the good news is you don't have to wait 9 months. You can come in for a May intake.
Is it only for PG students or UG students as well?
So it's PG at the moment, Somni. So we are looking at potentially introducing some kind of undergraduate course related courses for May. If and when that does change, then I'm more than happy to kind of to run another session to kind of discuss that. So it is tentatively in the works, I believe, but at the moment the May intake is predominantly just focused at postgraduate. And I think it's very hard to run a undergraduate course in May because obviously then you would then have to have 3 years of that. So of having a May start. So yeah, I think it's something that we're working on, and we should hopefully have that sorted. But the good news is we do have a May intake. So as I mentioned earlier, the May intakes would predominantly be focused for the postgraduate programs. So that's with the 2 university partners that we have. So that's Ulster University, which is London, Birmingham, and now Manchester, which is really, really good news. So Manchester is a campus that we've just opened, very, very excited about, because we know Manchester is a very cosmopolitan city. And now with Ulster University, we have branch campuses in 3 of the major cities. So you have London, Birmingham, and Manchester. Manchester like to think they're the second city in the UK, but they're not. Birmingham is. I'm from Birmingham. I'm always going to say that. Great thing is that there we are. They're both, 3 of those cities are very cosmopolitan. Really good cultural mix. There's big South Asian communities in all of those cities. So the great thing for students is, that somebody somewhere in South Asia is going to have family in Manchester, so that kind of does help make that decision for them as well. So yeah, look, with those campuses, it's and Ulster is probably one of our most leading or post popular university partners, and I think this is because the course fees are very, very competitively priced. There is a scholarship in place as well, which really does help students, especially from South Asia, because I know at the moment the way the region is, it's very volatile. So the way the currencies do fluctuate, so students might have set themselves a pot of money and thought, this is what I'm going to use for my education, but due to the way the currencies fluctuate, that pot of money is not worth as much as it was before. So, students are now looking for the kind of best value for money. And this is where Ulster University really does excel. And then we have our branch campus for Northumbria University in London as well. Again, Northumbria University is a very, very strong university. Its rankings, if you look at the rankings, they just go up every single year. They are aggressively looking to break the top 25, and I think they have everything in place to do that. Their research powers are phenomenal as well. A lot of the degrees that students take with both of these university partners, especially at PG level, will come with some kind of professional accreditation as well. So, with QA, what we also do is we are one of the only higher education providers that will guarantee students an internship, and this is because we can place students in other parts of our business. So this is a very strong, unique kind of selling point for us, and I think this is why our courses are so popular, because if you look historically with South Asian students, the reason they come over to the UK is so they can get this degree and then they can go back home and work for the big multinational companies, and earn what they will in a year as a UK grad. It would probably take them 5-6 years if they were a local grad, and that's if they would even get the opportunity to work for those big multinational companies. But over the years, because a lot of South Asian students have come to the UK and then gone back with a degree, that UK degree by itself is not as strong as it used to be. So employers are now looking for students that have actually got experience. So this is where every single university in the UK will offer an internship option. However, the onus is very much on the student to get that internship. Universities will help as much as they can, but ultimately it's on the student to get that internship. And just to give you some kind of context on this, so in the UK there is roughly, I think I did this stat about a year ago, there's about 65,000 internships available through the UK through companies. So a very big number. However, there's roughly about 200,000 international students that are looking for an internship every year. So that number does not go into that number. And what normally happens is the students, unfortunately, will be unable to secure themselves an internship. And that would then mean they would either apply for a PSW or just go back home with that, with just that degree, whilst they paid that extra money so they could have that internship. So, the great thing with QA is because we are part of QA Higher Education, because we are part of that bigger QA company, we can utilize and leverage the relationships we have with corporate clients, or we can put our students into the corporate arm of our business, the consultancy arm of our business. And this way we can guarantee the students the internship. So when students do come to QA, they will get a degree from a very strong ranked UK university in a very cosmopolitan city with a guaranteed internship as well. So, that ticks a lot of things that students are looking for, plus the professional accreditation that comes with a degree. So something just to give you kind of, and the audience, just some kind of context on this. Okay, so let's say me and you are both from Bangladesh. Okay, yeah. We both go to the UK. I went to a generic UK university, got myself, couldn't get my work experience. So then I've gone back home and I can apply for a job and I can work for a company. Some of you, however, went to QA. Very, very good choice. You have got yourself that degree, you've got your work experience, you've got some kind of professional accreditation as well. So you now have 3 things on your CV compared to my one. You know, your CV is going to stand out a lot more than mine. And this is why I think QA, you know, we really do excel in what we do. And yeah, we also offer scholarships as well. And what I like about QA is we don't do this on a merit-based system, because it's not a very fair system. So historically, a lot of universities will look at students' grades and say, right, the student with the higher grades deserves more scholarship. However, that's not a real fair representation, because again, let's say somebody, me and you are both in Bangladesh. My parents weren't rich, so I went to a state school with 100 kids in the class, you know, and you went to a private school where there was 20 kids in the class. So, you know, you had more one-on-one time with the lecturer. Automatically your grades are going to be a lot higher. By the time the register was done, half the lesson has already gone, you know, so my grades are lower. Out of us two, who would need that scholarship more? It would be me, because obviously my parents aren't as rich. So what I like about QA is we've just give a blanket scholarship. So every student that applies from South Asia will get the same scholarship, regardless of whether your parents are rich or poor.
Okay, so for Ulster Center, as far as we know, 15%, and for Northumbria, it's up to 30%, right?
Yeah, so with Northumbria, what we've done is, because it's based in London, and you know, London is one of the most expensive cities to live in the world, we've offered a London bursary. So on top of the scholarship, what the student will then get is 1 month's living costs on top as a scholarship as well. So this tops up to around 30% scholarship.
Okay, so as we have mentioned regarding the scholarship for the student who are going for undergraduate courses, so are they getting the progression scholarship in their 2nd and 3rd year?
Yeah, so what we will do is we will mirror the scholarship that the students have been offered on the 2nd and final year.
Okay, that's quite perfect.
It works really well for students, because then what they can do is they know they can budget. So, okay, I know I'm going to get this much scholarship every year. And I think it's very key, because look, a lot of universities, what they will do, like for example, with the foundation programs, I know we're covering UG, but I do want to cover foundation as well. So what a lot of providers will do is they will give the student a massive scholarship on their foundation program. And guys, you have to be very, very wary of this, or please be mindful, because what will happen is you'll get offered a foundation program. After scholarship, it will be about £8,000-9,000, or even sometimes £7,000. You think, wow, that's amazing. And then what will happen is you'll do your foundation program, and then you'll go into the 1st year of your undergraduate degree, and there's no scholarship. So from paying 8,000 or 9,000, it's gone up to £16,000, and you have to pay that every year. With QA, the way we do it is we try to give our students scholarships every year, but not as much as the other providers do up front. So at least with us, what you'll know is, well, I'm not going to get a 40% scholarship on my foundation program, but I know for the rest of my degree, when I go on to my university, I'm going to get a scholarship every year, which is then going to help me budget a lot more.
That's fantastic for our students, for our undergraduate students. So as we know that Ulster University and you launched a new campus in Manchester. So what are the courses you're offering right now in this campus?
So from Manchester, we do have a number of courses. So obviously I'm going to be looking at May now, because I think it's obviously way too late for January, because we are just about to close that intake off. But for Manchester, if I just bring this up, and I'll just go through this with you and the audience. So we do offer the extended options. So, you know, if a student is unable to get direct entry, the extended extended masters is basically our version of a free masters. So we will run this in international business, marketing, international business with data analytics, and international business with HR, human resources management. We also offer, and then we offer the standalone courses for direct entry, which is the MSc in international business, MSc in marketing, MSc business with data analytics, international business with human resource management, MSc computer science and technology. And we also offer the MSc Computer Science Technology with Business Development as well. So there's 3 variations of these courses. There's the extended option, where it's the pre-masters. We have the standalone 1-year option, which is just the master's program itself. And then we also have these with the advanced practice option. So the advanced practice is our version of the internship.
So it's a very good point that QA offering courses that comes with placement years. So what do you think? Why students should course along with placement years?
Yeah, look, I think, as I mentioned earlier, with a lot of, and not just South Asia, but I think this is globally, the UK is the hub, is one of the top countries in the world for students to come and study. And I think this is because, and employers will always look for UK graduates over any other country. That's America, Canada, Australia. The reason why these employers do seek out UK degree holders is because we have a very practical way in the way we teach. The majority of the world has a very theoretical based learning system. So that is, you learn from a book, and you have an exam at the end of the year, and all your answers are going to be in a book. So it's basically copy and paste. So you literally copy from what's in the book into your memory, and then you just put it down on your exam. Whilst in the UK, we have a very practical way in the way we teach. So just to kind of give you an example, the majority of the world, if we were in a classroom, you would go in, morning, say a lecturer comes in, he writes a question on the board, you look down into your textbook, find the answer, write the answer down. That's theoretical based learning. Whilst in the UK, you go into a lecture comes in, morning, sir, writes a question on the board, you look down, there's a blank piece of paper. So you have to use your problem solving skills and analytical skills to find the answer to that question or find the solution to that problem. And this is why UK degrees are more sought after.
Perfect suggestion. So can you please let us know the turnaround time, KS, and offer turnaround time for Ulster Northumbria, please, for the upcoming session?
Sure. So I will say this with complete honesty. We do get extremely busy when it comes closer to the intake. So at the moment for May, obviously we're not even in 2025 yet. So just to give you a heads up, I would say you would need to try and get your applications in as soon as possible. By latest February. I think anything after February, during February, maybe March is going to be the cutoff point. So you would need to make your application at least 3-4 months in advance to ensure that you secure your seat, because we are that popular.
Actually, we are getting so many applications for your centers. That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So regarding English language proficiency tests, so are you accepting any English test apart from IELTS?
Yeah. So we accept. I mean, this is a very kind of it's one of those questions where before the pandemic, my life was very, very simple. I had a black and white list of these are the courses, these are the tests that are accepted, and these are the ones that aren't. Obviously, the pandemic hit, and the universities were everything shut down, and the universities were like, we still need to get these students English validated somehow. So a lot of new players entered the market, like Language, Duolingo. And that list has never really gone back to black and white. But realistically, guys, what I would say is, please do try and stick with the gold standard tests, which are IELTS or PTE, not online. Those ones are no longer accepted with certain university partners. Or what we can do as well is, and again, this is another unique selling point for us, is that we do offer a free English test to any student that needs one. So this basically is a test that we conduct over Skype, very similar to an IELTS test. You have 4 elements: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. And the great thing is, if you get the required score, you can then use this for entry onto your course, but more importantly, you can use it for your visa as well. And the only thing that we do ask is that the student holds a minimum of a conditional offer. So if anybody here has taken an IELTS test and missed the score by 0.5%, or if you're currently considering or looking at the UK but think, I need to take an IELTS test, and you haven't booked one yet, by all means, you don't need to take that test or pay for a test. You can take that free English test with us, and that is valid for all of our university partners.
Yeah, perfect. So in order to secure the seat, the student must need a SOP to get the offer letter, right? So can you please advise some thing to our student regarding how to write a strong SOP?
Yeah, so look, different universities have different things that they look for in SOPs, but I think what our admissions team and what our universities partners look for are 4 or 5 key things. I think it's why the student has picked the UK. So they need to justify the reason why, they're looking to study in the UK over other countries, why the university itself, and the location. So, for example, if it was Ulster, Manchester, why have they picked Ulster University, but also Manchester as a location as well? Why they have picked the course, which is self-explanatory. How is this course going to help this student progress in their career? And finally, future career goals. So after your degree, what do you plan to do? Which companies do you plan to work for? What job titles will you go for, and what kind of salaries would you expect to get? And if you cover those kind of 4 key points, then that is enough in an SOP.
Perfect. Thank you. Can you also cover the entry requirements for our students, please, for UG and PG?
Sure, I will go through that now. So I'll start with Northumbria University. So for the undergraduate degrees, we would ideally look at a high school certificate, which is a GPA of 4.8, so around 78%, a 3-year diploma at 65%, or the student could have taken a 2 or 3 year bachelor's with a GPA of 3 out of 4, or 60%. For PG students, we would be looking at a 3 to 4 year bachelor's program at a recognized public or private university with a GPA of 2.5 from a public university, or a 2.7 from a private university, which basically is a 2.2, or a GPA of 2.7 from a public university out of 3, or 3 from a private university, which is a 2.2. And let me just go down a bit further. And for Ulster University, what we will be looking for a UG program is a 4-year diploma in engineering from Bangladeshi Technical Education Board with overall 75%, or successful completion of a 2-year undergraduate degree at 50% or more. And for the master's programs, we're looking at if a student's if they've successfully completed a master's degree at 2.1, which is 60%, or 2.2 for 50%, or successful completion of a 4-year bachelor's from a recognized institute at either 60 or 65%. Please note, for Ulster University, we can accept a final or provisional certificate, which is accompanied with a final transcript. Please note, the transcript must show the final overall mark or grade. So I know a lot of universities, they say we only want the final certificate. And I know, especially in Bangladesh, it can take years sometimes for that final certificate to be issued. So we can accept what I've just covered.
Okay, so what about the gap? How many years gap you are accepting for undergraduate and postgraduate?
It's a tough question, because look, a student might have left school, started work, and then they want to kind of progress, but they know they need a bachelor's. I would say 3 to 4 years is about right. Obviously with PG, there's no real issue, because students could have been working, and then they want to break up a management, and they've been told they need to get a master's degree. So PG is not the issue. PG is never really an issue. UG, I would say 3 to 4 years.
There should be explanation in the CV and SOP as well, right?
Yeah, so with CV, again, CV is key. So guys, look, whenever you're making an application to a university, the key things that the universities will look for, it's not just QA, it's pretty much every university in the world, is going to be your SOP. Your SOP is what sells you to the university, and your CV as well. CV will break down what you have been doing on your gap and during your study gap. And if you do have a gap of more than 6 months on your CV, you do need to cover that. Okay, so so it could be the pandemic, from 2020 to 2021, pandemic, lockdown, self-study, or whatever, but any gap over 6 months does need to be covered.
Okay, so as you know, few of the universities in Bangladesh, the students' result publication date and passing year is different. Like they completed their exam in 2022 and they are getting result in 2023. So we need to explain after 2023 or 2022.
It's a very good point. I would probably say I would cover it from the last point of study. So, and I think a lot of UK universities understand that sometimes the degree is the certificate is issued a year later. And what I would probably just do is put that on your CV. So you could say finished degree in 2022, and then in brackets, degree issued in 2023. So that kind of covers that. And then you basically just cover from when you last studied.
Yeah, as you know, without getting the result, how could they get a job or do something else, right? It's difficult. Yeah. Okay, so also kindly cover for us the tuition fees for each centers.
Sure. Okay, so I will cover, let me just go to the London campus first. So for Ulster University, in fact, you know what, I will cover Northumbria University. Okay, so for the PG courses, the standalone programs, the MSc programs are priced at £19,750. Everybody, please don't log off because that's the price. But don't forget, you do get a 30% scholarship on that. Okay, so that brings that course fee right down, and that's pretty much for the 1-year program. For the 2-year option, so this is with that advanced practice, it is 22,750. Again, please don't log off. This is before scholarships have been applied. You would then just take off the 30%. That would then give you your final fee. For Ulster University in London, the course fees for the 1-year program are 14,950 for the 1-year option. And for the 2-year option, it is 19,550. Again, guys, these prices that I'm giving are before scholarships have been applied. Okay, so you then would take off 15% scholarship for Ulster and 30% for Northumbria University. For Birmingham, the course fees are for the standalone programs are 13,350. And for the 2-year option, it's £18,000. And Manchester's is the same as Birmingham. So it's £13,300 for the 1-year option and £18,000 for the 2-year option. Again, guys, this is before scholarship has been applied.
Yeah. So what about the cash deposit?
The cash, sorry? The deposit. Sorry. Okay. So we would always say, look, our deposit is £6,500 for both Ulster and Northumbria. But guys, what I would always say is never just pay your minimum deposit. Please try and pay as much as you can. It's going to help you budget a lot more, because hopefully it wouldn't happen, but sometimes currencies do crash, so and especially with South Asia at the moment, it always seems that the currency is never going to climb back up rapidly. It's just going to drop down. So the more you pay today, because the DACA is worth more, then obviously it's going to be more financially viable for you to kind of clear as much as you can. Plus, it's going to make your life a lot easier as well, because when you come to the UK, look, a lot of students, it's going to be the first time you've come to the UK. And it's going to be the first time you've left your home, your family, your friends. It's going to be the UK. It's a very nice country, but it is kind of, especially in the winter, it can be cold, it can be wet. You don't know anybody. You're still trying to find your way around. You're trying to learn a new education system from learning from a book to actually thinking for yourself. You're juggling a lot of things when you come over to the UK, especially when you study overseas. The last thing you want to do is then have additional pressure of, oh, I've still got this much money to pay. And all of a sudden, the money that I had, because of the currencies have dropped, doesn't cover it all. So I would just try and say, pay as much as you can, because it does make your life easier. Because there's one less thing you have to worry about when you arrive.
So students who are depositing their cash deposit first time cash payment, so how much time they'll get to give the remaining deposit to the university?
Okay, so again, look, this is another really good thing about QA, because we never try and blindside a student. So look, guys, again, this is, you have to be very, very wary when a lot of universities will say, we'll give you a CAS for £4,000. You're like, wow, why am I going to pay 6,500 when I can pay 4,000 for a CAS? And look, I understand sometimes, especially in South Asia, price is key. So students will look, I don't really want to give that much straight away, which is fine. But what will happen is that university will issue a CAS for 4,000. You'll go to enroll, and they'll say, we want £5,000 now before we let you enroll. And then the students will be like, wow, okay, it can be an issue. So the great thing with QA is, even though we say it's £6,500, I would always say more. When you then go and enroll, there's no fees on enrollment. Okay, we don't want to blindside students. What will happen is when the student enrolls, they will have a meeting with our finance team, and we can arrange a payment plan for a student. But ideally, we're looking for the student to pay outstanding fees within 3 months of the course starting.
Okay.
Again, if you've paid all your fees up front, then you don't have to worry about this, or the majority of your fees up front. This makes it a lot easier for you to then budget in the UK.
It will make their life easier as well. Okay, so I just have some query about one of your lucrative course, MBA course, right? So are you offering this for May intake as well? Also, do you require any job experience regarding this field to enter for this program?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so unfortunately, the MBA is not running in May. We only have that for January and September. And the MBA does have a minimum work experience requirement. It's 22 months. However, that can be 22 months, and that can be part-time work. It doesn't necessarily mean that the student has had to have worked full-time for almost 2 years. They kind of been studying and work part-time. As long as they've got that work experience for those 22 months, we can then accept those students on the MBA. Now, the MBA is a very good course because it's all about management. It's about the softer skills. It's about how to lead and manage your team. And it's a great course because it's not really restricted to one sector. Like, for example, if you were to take an MSc in international business with HR management, then realistically your job is going to have to be, or it's expected to be, in HR or international business. Because the MBA is a management program, you can be from any sector, because every sector needs management skills. So it's very open. It's a very broad course. And yeah, especially for students that have already taken a master's program like an MSc or something in their home country, the MBA is a really good option.
Okay, thank you. And does your university is offering any accommodation facilities for the international students?
So the branch campuses, so Ulster, London, Birmingham, Manchester, and Northumbria, London, are branch campuses. So these are branches. These are campuses specifically designed to be in the heart of city centres, where students really want to get that experience of hustle and bustle of city life. So we don't offer accommodation in those centres. However, we do have a dedicated career accommodation team. So what will happen is, once a student has paid their deposit, our team will automatically contact the student and say, look, Sumni, you've paid your deposit, congratulations. Do you need any help finding accommodation? And we have a list of vetted vendors. These people are all above board. And then you can say, hi, Kully, yeah, look, I need some accommodation in Manchester. This is what I can afford to pay. And then what we will do is we'll go away to our vendors and then come back to you with options. You don't need to use that service if you don't want to. A lot of people will look at Rightmove or Gumtree. There's a lot of accommodation available. However, just please be careful, guys, whenever you're looking at a private landlord, please ensure that they are fully vetted, because the last thing you want to do is go to the UK and then, you know, you have trouble with the landlord. So always try and go for a vetted landlord or a company, because they will then obviously have your best interests at heart.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your session, for the information and the suggestions for our students. Now, I'd like to take some comments from our audience and students who are with us in this live session. Can I have the comments, please?
So, years gap. I think Sajib, thank you for your question. Thank you for joining today. I think I did cover this, but realistically, we're looking at about a 3 to 4 year gap for a UG student. PG, there is no real issue as long as you can credibly explain the gap that you're doing.
Thank you.
Do you have a fully funded online master's program? Unfortunately, we don't, Adeneke. We don't offer any fully funded courses. However, what I would probably recommend for yourself is there is a lot, especially, I take it from Africa. I take it that you're from Nigeria. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been to Nigeria quite a few times and the names are very similar. But there is lots of pots of scholarships available within Nigeria, from shell corporations to oil and gas companies. So I'd probably say your best bet is to target those and see if you can get your education sponsored by them.
Okay, we don't have offices in Nigeria, by the way.
Okay. Hello. Do you accept course change? Like someone did the honors in social science and then they want. Sanjay, a really good question. Yeah, we can, as long as you can credibly explain why. You know, I think that's the key thing, and it depends if you've done your entire course in that one area. So if you've done like a 4-year bachelor's in social science and then want to go into hospitality and management, it's all about really your SOP is what's going to really sell you on that. And then our admissions team will look at that on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, perfect.
Yasmini, so thanks for the question. Again, this would depend on which university you've been to and where this is mirrored to on the actual system that we use. I think it's ETIS or something, which all universities kind of look at from foreign degree universities, and they kind of match that up. So what I would probably say is speak to the guys here at EN Global, make your application, and then our admissions team will be able to make that call. No, Shahzad, so look, we don't offer any fee for applications. We also give a free English test, and there's also that guaranteed scholarship. So yeah, I think we do give a lot. Sheikh, thank you for the question. Unfortunately, we don't offer any PhD courses at the moment. It might be something that we're looking into, but at the moment, no, we top off at master's programs.
We must look into it. Our demand is increasing, from Bangladeshi students.
Yeah. I think globally, PhDs are in high demand.
Exactly.
Biswant, thanks for the message. You can do a double master's, but again, what I would just say with that is, if you've done a master's in, for example, international business, then you're not going to be able to take a second master's in international business. It would need to be something different. So again, this is where that MBA comes in very, very handy, because it's all about management. So you can see, and it's all about justifying why this second master's is going to help your career. So if, for example, if you've done an MSc in marketing, then you can do an MBA on top of that, because you've got the marketing skills, you want to get the management skills to kind of make your profile stronger. So yeah, that you can do a second master's. I think I've covered this, Ripper. So we do, unfortunately, for our branch campuses, we don't offer accommodation, but we can help you find accommodation. So yeah, we do. Certain partners do. However, this is, if I was to try and find the answer for you and then go through it, it would probably take me like 2 hours, because there's so many different variations of this. What I would say is, the gold standard is obviously IELTS or the PTE tests. Don't worry if the TOEFL test isn't accepted, because we do obviously offer that free internal English test as well, so you can take that. No, unfortunately, we don't. Nice, short, simple answer there. So for PG students, we're looking at 59 overall, and in each element, and that's got to be a UK VIPTE. Again, this would all depend on how that polytechnic is ranked, and how that is matched up to the UK system. So, Jabril, please do get in touch with the guys here at EN Global, and they'll be able to assist you with that. Okay.
Okay. So another one.
Yeah, so whatever we give you on your first year of your undergraduate degree at our branch campuses will be then mirrored for your second and final year.
Perfect. I think we are done with the questions, comments from our audiences. So I think we are near the end of our today's discussion, Kulinder. Do you have anything to say to our students and EN Global Education Limited?
No, look, all I will just say is, look, the UK, coming to the UK is a life-changing opportunity. And it's not just the university you need to look at, guys. Please do look at the locations of where your universities are going to be based, because you're not going to be studying every single moment of your time in the UK. So picking that city or location is vital. And I think the great thing with Ulster is now, because we do have Manchester, we have the spine of the UK covered, you know. London, Birmingham, where I'm speaking to you from now, greatest city in the world. You should all come to Birmingham. Or we have Manchester as well, where you can then look. So those are the three key cities, and I think the three most popular cities in the UK for students to look and study. So yeah, please do look at the location of your university. And guys, just a word of warning, please always be careful. If something sounds too good to be true, there's going to be a fine print somewhere with these universities. So if they offer a low CAS fee, then just ask, you know, do I have to pay any additional fees on enrollment? Will they expect me to pay all my outstanding fees up front? Yeah, and obviously with anybody that wants to take that internship option with their master's degree, then you should definitely look at 𝐃𝐞𝐚𝐤 QA, because we're the ones that can give you that internship.
Okay, so students, if you missed the last session, don't worry. Please stop by any of our branches to apply for the upcoming sessions, and you will get the information and prospects that the QA Higher Education has to offer for our potential students. Lastly, I'd like to express my gratitude to Kulinder once again, our students and our viewers, for their valuable time and patience. Every student, I believe, received all the necessary details for the information for their application and the university admission procedure. So thank you, Kulinder, for joining us today and make the session fruitful for our students.
To me, it's always a pleasure. Yep, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next session that we do.
Yeah. We hope so. Thank you so much. Stay sound.
Take care and stay safe, guys. Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Cheers.
Bye.